Beat 'em up games have played a special part in my life, and have produced some of the most memorable games and characters that I've ever played, such as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Battletoads, Castle Crashers, and for many, the ever popular Streets of Rage on the Sega Genesis. There, however, has been one long-running franchise that dates way back to 1986 for the original Famicom, Kunio-kun, as known to us in the West as the Rriver City franchise, where you play as Kunio and Riki to protect their respective schools. In Rriver City Girls though, Kunio and Riki have been kidnapped, and instead you'll be playing as Kyoko and Misako, their girlfriends with a major attitude, in a very violent city. But how does this spin-off fare to not only the mainline releases, but more importantly to the beat 'em up genre as a whole? This is my review of Rriver City Girls. The first thing you probably notice is the gorgeous pixel art in Rriver City Girls, and it's hard not to. It absolutely looks fantastic with vibrant colors and smooth but punchy animations. In fact, the overall presentation in Rriver City Girls is top notch, and this bleeds into the music as well. The music is absolutely fantastic, and it kinda reminds me of the kind of pop music in The World Ends With You. It's got a retro style to it, but it's one of those soundtracks that just doesn't get old, and you'll be playing them through your head throughout the rest of the day. Now, right away from the beginning of the game, you'll be introduced to the main protagonists, Kyoko and Misako, by beating your way out of detention once learning that their boyfriends Kunio and Riki have been kidnapped. Nothing will keep them from saving their high school sweethearts, and that is a real theme to the Rriver City Girls, the girls with an attitude. It is fully voice acted, which I greatly appreciate, and the way it tells its story is told through clever and witty dialogue, which can often be humorous or at times maybe come off as a little bit immature, but that is the point. The main heroes in Rriver City Girls isn't mature, and they aren't trying to be overly serious or save the universe. They just want to save their boyfriends, and nothing's going to stand in their way. But overall, the story and dialogue is enjoyable and entertaining. There was times where I laughed at their sarcasm, and they themselves even break the third wall, where Kyoko comments about why is our city so violent, as you yourself may notice, why is everybody trying to beat you up? It's these small little conversations that make Rriver City Girls thoroughly entertaining. The characters all have their own personality and come off as weird and memorable all at the same time. But there is a few fully animated scenes that look as if they're in an anime show, and it's primarily used to introduce bosses. And there is a few hand-drawn scenes as well that mimic a manga, and show some of the backstory to the two protagonists. Sure, the overall story isn't going to set the world on fire or anything, but like I said, it's entertaining nonetheless. Now of course, this being a beat 'em up game, the gameplay is the main focus, and I'm happy to tell you that Rriver City Girls is one of the best beat 'em up games that have come out in a very long time. This game was developed by wayforward, but what drew my attention immediately was that Arc Systems, the developer to Dragon Ball FighterZ and Guilty Gear, was apparently overseeing this project. And if you know anything about me, I love fighting games, and Arc System is one of the best fighting game developers right now, and this all just somehow seemed like a perfect combination for a beat 'em up game. And it certainly shows, because the combat in this game, while may start off a little basic, quickly becomes very combo heavy as you unlock moves by buying them. It all kind of works like a Dark Souls game where you defeat an enemy, you get souls, but here instead, you're flat out just getting money when you beat somebody up, like you just stole some kid's lunch money at your school. This money is used for pretty much everything in the game, whether that be buying new moves to further your combos. You can buy items to give you special abilities, or you can buy health items as well. The choice is yours, but just know when you die, you'll lose a lot of your money, which is why I just referred to Dark Souls. And this game is actually very challenging, and admittedly, I died quite a bit. Not only can you be outnumbered in normal fights, but the bosses are incredibly difficult as you have to learn their patterns, so you can strategize on how to defeat them. And this is where Rriver City Girls absolutely excels at. While the combat of beating up regular enemies can become a little repetitive because they just don't stop coming, the bosses are truly fun to play against. I've always been a sucker for challenging bosses, and I do think Rriver City Girls is one of the best to do this in a long time. And it kind of reminded me of my childhood where I'm trying to memorize their every animation. If it is a little too challenging for you though, you can always just leave and go grind by defeating the countless enemies to level up. Because yes, Rriver City Girls is an RPG as well. You not only can level up, which gives you access to a larger pool of moves that you can buy, which is different for each girl, but it also increases your stats, and as I mentioned earlier, you can hold 2 items that give you special abilities as well. If you don't like grinding though, this may become an issue for you though, because it can be repetitive at times. While the combos are fun and both Misako and Kyoko plays completely different, the enemies aren't always a blast to play against, as you see the same few enemies over and over again. I also grew increasingly frustrated with one button being set to so many different actions. The punch button is not only used to punch, but also to pick up items on the ground, which includes enemies that have fallen down. It's used to access shops or to go to the next area. On a pretty regular basis, I either picked up an item I didn't want to, or left the area in the middle of a fight. These aren't really major complaints by any means, but still it's worth mentioning. At the end of the day though, Rriver City Girls is a great game. It has an entertaining story with witty dialogue, fantastic music and art design, and while the combat can be a little repetitive, yes, it is still fun. The bosses though are just so exceptional though, and I truly believe this is one of the best beat 'em up games that I've played in a long time. Anyways, that's it for this review, but make sure to hit that subscribe and bell notification button for more content just like this.